So it was recently my birthday. I am now officially in my mid-20s, which I am not freaking out about. And some very, very lovely members of my family and my friends asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and obviously I said books. I've of course already said thank you to all of them in person, but thank you again, you guys are so cool. I love you. Thank you. I feel very, very lucky to have so many new books in my collection and I'm so excited. So we're going to jump right on into it and I'm going to show you everything I got. Most of these are for my birthday, a few I thrifted myself, and then I also have a big book parcel. We're going to open this bad boy because my gorgeous grandparents sent me some money for my birthday and I decided, what do I not have enough of? Books. So I have ordered myself some books. So we're going to open this first and I'm so excited. This arrived yesterday and this is the first opportunity I've had to open it. So without further ado, oh, beautiful. We'll just go with what is literally on top. What is first? This is A Man Called Vaye. I am still yet to read a Fredrik Backman book. I think this is going to make me cry. And I love books that make me cry. This one is following a grumpy old man. Has his wife just died or have I made that up? That is not in the blurb. Maybe I've made that up. I think it's just like a character study of this guy. I mean this is kind of based on nothing, but I'm assuming it's kind of the story of him becoming a little bit less grumpy, maybe. I think it's meant to be quite a wholesome vibe, but also sad. I'm not gonna lie, the blurb doesn't give you very much, but I've just seen people loving this and I'm very excited about it, so I had to get that. Then, what is this one? We have Rouge by Mona Awad. I have another Mona Awad book that I thrifted in the past, you'll see that in a minute, but I have read Bunny by this author and adored it, so I'm so excited to see what else she's written. And I hadn't realised the paperback for this had already come out, so best believe I was getting a hold of this. I know very little about this. I want to go in knowing as little as possible. I know it's something to do with like the beauty industry and that's it. That is really all I know, but I am excited. I loved Bunny by Mona Awad. I think there was a very good chance I'll love this, and I have another one of hers, so I'm just excited to read some more of her backlist. Well, this isn't her backlist, I think this is her new one. 2023, yeah. So, excited for Rouge. Then, I got myself some tabs because I want to be an annotating girly. I'm not an annotating girly, but I want to become one. And like, fake it till you make it, right? Oh my gosh, there are so many. Stop. How cute are those? There are a few books that I want to go back and annotate. In example, all of Sally Rooney's books, Boy Parts by Eliza Clark, Push by Ashley Audrain, My Dark Vanessa, basically all the books that I always bang on about. I want to go back through and annotate them. But I think some of these like new books as I'm reading them, I'm not going to become like an annotating girly, but I might become like the odd tab here or there, the odd note, you know what I mean? Because I'm a dyslexic girl, like I already take a long time to read. I'm not going to double my reading experience by becoming like a full-on annotator, but I just thought it might be nice to have some little tabs, and they're so pretty. So I got those. Then back to the books. There's like a really skinny one in here. What is this? Oh my gosh, I forgot I ordered this. This is Open Water. She is so tiny, only like 145 pages. From what I know about this, and it isn't much, but I think it's meant to be to do with a situationship, but I think it's like very literary fiction, lyricalness. And this is like a weird, like aside, but the Costa Book Awards, I don't know who judges those, what the system is. Every book I've ever read that has won the Costa Book Awards, I've loved. Can't explain it, but like Eleanor Oliphant won it. There's another one I read recently that won it. I just have a good luck with the Costa Book Awards, which feels like a very random prize to enjoy their books, but I do. They pick good books. And I've heard very good things about this. Okay, we have two more in this parcel. Let's do, I got a hardback. I do remember what this is, see if I can get it out. I caved and I got the Crimson Moth. Even though I don't read fantasy, and I know I say it all the time, this one intrigues me. This is actually gorgeous. Oh, the font is huge. Love. So this is following Rune, and is she a witch? And then it's like a romantasy with a witch hunter, I want to say. Oh my gosh, and it's a duology. Even better, even better. 2 books, I can do 2 books. This is called in the States The Heartless Hunter, I want to say. It's the same book. Don't know why it's a different name, but it is. As I say, not a fantasy reader. Well, I always claim to not be a fantasy reader, but then the fantasy I read, I enjoy. So make it make sense. I think it's just not a genre I reach for a lot, but we're coming into kind of winter time. I think this will be a fun one for the winter. And I don't think I've seen a bad review of this. Like, everyone seems to love it. I do have a feeling it's YA, which again, not necessarily my genre, but I just think this sounds like something I would enjoy. So it's nice to have the occasional fantasy on my list because I don't have many and I would like to have some. I already have such a range going on, I'm so excited. And then last but not least of the books that I bought myself, let's just say she's a favourite author. We have, oh my gosh, this cover is gorgeous. We have Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh. Ever since I read My Year of Rest and Relaxation, I have been so excited to read more of her. Is this cover not beautiful? I am kind of obsessed with this. I don't even think I know what this is about, but literally from reading that one book, author by author, I will read anything that this author writes. So the main character, oh, do we not have a name again? That is the same as what happened in My Year of Rest and Relaxation. No, she's called Eileen. That was stupid. She is literally called Eileen. So Eileen is trapped between caring for her alcoholic father and her job as a secretary at a boys' prison. Oh, that's cool. Then the beautiful and charismatic Rebecca St. John arrives, and she's a new counsellor at the prison. Ooh, but Eileen's affection for Rebecca pulls her into a crime that far surpasses her own wild imagination. That sounds fun. That sounds very different from My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which was very introspective. Like, not a whole lot happened in that book, but I am obsessed with it. And so this one might be a little heavier on the plot. But honestly, I don't mind. I would read her shopping list. I will read anything this woman writes. This might be the next book I pick up. I am so unbelievably excited for this. I cannot even tell you. I need to get anything else that's on her backlist as well. Should we move on to the ones that I thrifted? On my actual birthday, I just did a cheeky, quick little pop into the charity shops, had a quick look, and I got lucky. I got 3 books in there. So the ones that I got myself on my actual birthday, as I say, I got another Mona award, so I got All's Well. We're following Miranda. She had an accident that ended her acting career. And now she is a college theatre director, but she is on the verge of losing that job. So she's trying to put on a play of All's Well That Ends Well. And I don't understand the rest of the blurb, but she is another one who I feel like I will probably read anything from. This one sounds very different. Honestly, all 3 of her books that I own sound very, very different. So I'm really intrigued to see what else she's written, because Bunny was a fever dream. That book is insane in the best way, but it is insane. So I'm very, very intrigued to see what else she's written. Then I found Talking at Night by Claire Daverley. And listen, I bought this for one reason and one reason alone. I have heard people say that this writing is like Sally Rooney's. Best believe if you say that to me, I'm buying that book, especially if I find it for £1 in a charity shop. I'm obsessed with Sally Rooney. We all know this. And if this is anything like that, I am going to be so excited. So in this one, we're following Will and Rosie. They meet as teenagers. It says they're opposites in every ways, but they kind of bond, I guess, over long walks home and late night phone calls. And they are destined to be one another's great love story. Until tragedy strikes. No! We're following them years on. They can't help but find their way back to each other. It is kind of, I see the normal people, like, vibes coming through. And then last but not least, on my actual birthday, I so nearly wasn't going to get this, but it was literally £1. It was in like the discount bin, and I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to do it. That is Hot Milk by Deborah Levy. She is the author of Swimming Home, which I read in school. I like studied it, and I actually recently bought a copy of that book because I want to reread it. I can't remember a whole lot about that book other than just talking about it now. I feel like it might be something I enjoy. And it's also an incredibly short book. This book is only just over 200 pages. So I figured it was £1, it's 200 pages. I can't really go wrong. But there's the tiniest blurb ever. It's literally 4 lines. I'm going to read it to you quickly. I know people reading blurbs is kind of boring, but just hear me out because I think this blurb is actually gorgeous and it's so short. It says, Today I dropped my laptop on the concrete floor of a bar built on the beach. My laptop has all of my life in it and knows more about me than anyone else. So what I am saying is that if it is broken, so am I. That is all the blurb says, and I think that sounds so intriguing. I am intrigued. I hate the title because I have a phobia of milk, so the idea of hot milk, ugh, not a fan. But I am intrigued as to how it is relevant. Hopefully it's not too relevant because I do not want to read a story about hot milk, but alas. Moving on to the books that people bought me for my birthday. Love you guys, thank you again. Obviously I've already said thank you to everyone in person, but just in case they're watching, thank you, you're so cool, I love you. I'm gonna try and whistle stop tour these because I've apparently already been filming for 20 minutes. So, I'm so excited to read this book. Got The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. I've never read from this author before, but I saw this going around, I think last year, and it just sounds so up my alley. We're following a secret cult. I love books about cults. We've got an unsolved murder. We're following Shay Evans. So while they were at college, she and her friends met a man who seduced them with her lies, and then 8 years later, they have escaped whatever had gone on there, and she's built a new life for herself when she realises that her friend Laurel has died. So I think it's her going back to this cult or whatever that situation was and kind of figuring out what's happened with her friend Laurel. Next one is a Jack Edwards special. I heard him talk about it and I was like, yes, that sounds incredible. Please, I would love that. And that is The Nursery. And I don't remember too much about it other than I think it is about postnatal depression, which weirdly, where's the other one? Here. I have a second book also about postnatal depression because I find books about that so fascinating. I love you, but I've chosen darkness. So I know very little about either of these. I think they are both literary fictions kind of surrounding that theme. Both relatively short books. I know nothing about either, so if you've read either, let me know. But gosh, I am excited. I want to get to one of these soon. And we have Scythe by Neal Shusterman. This is YA sci-fi, maybe not YA, can't remember, don't quote me on that. It sounds fun and I know that this series is quite beloved. We're following a world where they've solved death. So people don't die anymore, which means that I guess they have an overpopulation problem. So these guys kind of go around and do they choose who to kill or I'm not really sure. But I think we're following one of the people. It reminds me a little bit of Logan's Run because that book starts with him being like a hunter and he has to like kill anyone who's over the age of 21. That book was strange, but also kind of fun. So I'm hoping this will be maybe not similar, but at least same vibes. Then, honestly, I have such a weird mix of genres going on here. I think it's finally time. Also, fun fact about this book, this was on my mum's wish list, and my mum only reads murder mysteries. Only. She definitely doesn't read romance. And I did say to her, I was like, just to let you know that's a romance book, right? And she went, oh, I thought it was just like a murder mystery, even though it does say romance on the front cover. But I said to her, you read it if you want to read it, but just warning you, it is a romance. And she said, yeah, no, I'm not getting that. She took it off her wish list and then I put it on mine. Everyone loves this book. It has such an insanely high average on Goodreads. And listen, I'm intrigued. Is this dark romance? Maybe. Oh gosh. I just like glanced at the trigger warnings and I saw the top one said, eyeballs and eye sockets. I've never read a dark romance book before. I don't actually know if this is dark. I think if it is, it's kind of like the lesser end of dark romance. I don't know. Someone let me know if I need to mentally prepare for this, but I know everyone loves this and I'm excited. Then I got Weirdo by Sara Pascoe. She is a comedian. I really, really like her. And this is, I think, fiction. We're following Sophie. And Sophie has a feeling that something's going to happen, and then Chris enters the pub and re-enters her life. Now Sophie has a chance at creating a happier ending and paying off her emotional debts. I think it's meant to be relatively light-hearted but messy kind of thing. I don't know, I just think it could be fun, and I like Sara Pascoe, so I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit fun, maybe a little bit messy. I don't really know. Again, I've actually not heard anyone talk about this, but I just think it's fun and the cover's gorge. Ooh, I have 15 minutes till I need to go to work. We can make this work. I'm gonna go quick. We have Shark Heart. I said in my how many books can I read in 30 days video that I wanted to get this, but I needed to get the hardback because the paperback, she's just not the same. Like, look how gorgeous this is. This is like a prized possession. This is stunning. And this is following a couple where the man is turning into a great white shark. I don't even think metaphorically, I think he is just turning into that. Yeah. Sounds weird. I'm down. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonam-Young. I have recently also just got a hold of Next of Kin, so I'm very excited to try this out. But again, I know that this is beloved. I know that it's a trope that a lot of people don't necessarily like. I don't have an issue with this trope personally, each to their own, but I don't have an issue with it. So I'm hoping it's one that I'm going to enjoy. Then, sticking on the romance theme, I have Hopeless by Szilvia. This is the last book in the Flawless series. I own all of the others. This is the last one that I needed to get. I'm still yet to read most of the series, but I want to make some progress on that soon because I really, really enjoyed Flawless. I don't know who this one follows. I kind of like not knowing when it's a series like that. I know people tend to say in videos, so I probably have the information somewhere in my brain from watching people read this book, but for the time being, I don't know, and I'm going to keep it that way. So I'm not going to read you the blurb, so sorry. Then we have one of my most anticipated books of all time. How often do I bang on about The Push by Ashley Audrain? I love it. I'm obsessed with that book. She has a new one. It is called The Whispers. And best believe, after The Push, she is another author where I will read anything from her. I will say I was holding out because I kept seeing this gorgeous, I don't know if it's the hard copy or something, but I kept seeing this gorgeous copy of the book with these like gorgeous leaves. I can't find that edition anywhere. I don't know how you get your hands on it. Even the hard copy, when I was adding it to my wish list, didn't look like that. So I don't know if that's like a different country's edition or something, but I have this one, which is still very pretty. It's just, I was obsessed with the leaves copy. I'm not gonna lie to you, the blurb is giving very little away. But we're following like a family and I think a murder. It says 4 families, 1 secret. The blurb is giving very little, but as I say, I will read anything after The Push because The Push was like, it's like a psychological thriller, but it has amazing themes and conversations about motherhood, and it was just so complex. And like, yeah, it was very dark and it had like the pace of being a thriller, but it feels like it was so much deeper than just like your classic thriller, what's going to happen next. Really hoping this one has that same feel to it. Then, sticking on the thriller theme, I have my first Riley Sager book, and this is the only one left. I am yet to read a book by him. I know people love this author, so I'm excited. And I think this is the one where we're following, I could just look on the back of the book rather than guessing. So, everyone believes that this woman is a murderer. She is paralysed and cannot speak, and she's confined to a wheelchair. And then I think we're following a live-in carer, and she's basically trying to find out what has happened, I think. I don't know. As I say, I haven't read a book by him. This was the one that most intrigues me, so I thought I'll start here. I don't know if it's a good place to start with him, but I thought it could be fun. Okay guys, 4 more. Should we stick on the thriller theme while we're here? I Got the Teacher by Freida McFadden. I quite recently read my first Freida McFadden book, which was The Housemaid. Really enjoyed it. It was just so easy to fly through. It was just like a fun time. And this is, if not her new one, no, she's just had a new one come out. This is like maybe her second most new one. This still came out in 2024. That woman writes quickly because she's got another one, I think, called The Boyfriend, which has just come out. Unless that was like a re-release, I think that also came out this year. The Teacher is following Eve, who is a maths teacher living a good life until last year there was a scandal involving a student-teacher affair, but Eve knows that there is more to the rumours. Oh, it's looking like her classic short chapters though, and you know, I love a short chapter. I'm excited to read more from Freida McFadden because that first one, as I say, was just such an easy book, and I feel like I've been kind of on the verge recently of a reading slump. Like, not fully in one, but kind of not in the mood to read, if that makes sense. I think a Freida McFadden book could well be the answer. And then one last thriller book while we're here, we have The Writing Retreat. When I heard that there was a thriller book centred around a writer's retreat, I have never added something to my wish list so fast. Love books about writers. Specifically, love books about writers' retreats. I recently read The Villa by Rachel Hawkins, which wasn't inherently a writer's retreat, but it was about two writers who went away to write. So basically a writer's retreat. And the vibes of that book were immaculate. And like, that was the main thing I loved about that book, was just the atmosphere. If this gives the same thing, I'm so excited for it. This one, we're following 5 women selected for a month-long writing retreat. Honestly, if I don't love this book, I'll be amazed. Oh, it's getting even better. The place that they're going to belongs to a controversial high priestess of feminist horror. Say no more. Say no more. I am going to love this. I'm telling you that right now. I want that down on paper. I don't even need to read anymore. This might be the next book that I pick up. Whatever I said it was before, it now might be this. So excited. Okay, we have 2 books left. Let's do this one, because I've actually never heard about this book, but again, I found it in Edinburgh in like a little indie bookstore. I didn't end up picking it up because I had no room left in my case, but I added it to my wish list and someone bought it and I'm excited. And that is, I guess it's called Escape and Control by Steve Hollyman. It's just like The Keys. And it's all kind of like, not mixed media, but like a little bit. There's type in there, like typewriter font, and it's kind of broken up. I don't know. It sounds interesting. I can't even remember what this is about. So Vincent wakes up in his apartment with no recollection of getting there, and his girlfriend has been murdered. And then he's guided by mysterious phone calls that lead him to a series of clues to find her killer. Meanwhile, an explicit video of Emily is going viral. She shared it with someone called Davison, but she never expected him to upload it. And she's only ever spoken to him online, so he might not be who he says he is. And that is all that the blurb says. I guess a mystery thriller, which honestly the cover is not giving, but I'm excited. This has very few reviews on Goodreads. I think it's somewhere around 200. Like, there's really not many reviews at all. So I would say if anyone has read this, let me know. I'm kind of suspecting maybe not, but if you have, please tell me. I'm excited. It's fun to sometimes find a book that you've heard nothing about. Like, I just found this on the shelf and thought it sounded interesting, so I'm excited to finally have it. And sadly last, but most certainly not least, we have Notes on an Execution. We are following Ansel, who is scheduled to die in 12 hours, but this is not his story. So I believe he is a serial killer, but this is the story of the women who survived. I'm not sure if this is fictional or if it's based on a true story. It definitely doesn't say anything about being based on a true story. But I think this could be very, very sad and dark, but I must say I do think it's something that I could find really fascinating. That is the final book that I'm adding to my TBR. There you have it. Those are all the books that I have acquired in the last week or so. We have 23 new books. I am so unbelievably excited and grateful. I feel like we have an amazing mix of genres. Like, we've got romance, we've got literary fiction, we've got sci-fi, we've got fantasy, we've got thriller. Like, I genuinely feel like we've got a little bit of everything. My TBR is well and truly stocked. Please let me know which of these you would like to see me read for reading vlogs. Let me know what you want to see me get to soon. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, it's my alarm to go to work. Well, that's perfect timing. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. I love you. Goodbye!